Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining our workshop today, Build the Perfect Digital Assistant for Your Business workshop. We welcome you to this workshop that will be presented by Bernard Lee, Amir Nasir, and Barry Hyun. If you have any questions today, please put them in the Q&A and we'll get back to you live or directly. Without further ado, I'll hand over to Bernard, who will be starting the presentation.
Thank you, Jane, and welcome everybody. I'm really glad you can join us. And for those who it's your first time, welcome to our developer workshop. And for those who have constantly been on this, good to see you again. So let's get started with the agenda for today. And right, so this workshop, of course, I'm going to share with you for those who are new to us, especially this is how we can help you right now to get yourself acquainted to set up the trial account. And we're going to do an introduction on the Oracle Digital Assistant and what is the use case for today and the labs that you will be doing. So there are 5 labs. Design the pizza scale, setting up the shopping center, digital assistant, personalizing your DA, evaluating the routing behaviors, and expose the DA through the web channels. So these are our agenda for today. Right, so here is what you need to do. So Jane, of course, when you register for this, your email would have been whitelisted already, and then you are good to go to set up an account. So go to the Oracle website, and there's a link. There's a link for you to click on to start the registration, right? So what will be needed, of course, is for you to put in your territory, your country, for example, and put in your particulars. Verify the email, and then you will come to this section. So pick a good cloud account name, so that will be your tenancy name, and this will be used for your login to your cloud tenancy account. And for the home region, you can choose whichever region that is closest to you. And if you're not sure, just choose, like for example, here is US East Ashburn. Okay. And to complete the registration, and then you click on the Start My Free Trial. And once you completed that, you will receive, of course, a confirmation email, and then your tenancy will be provisioned. So you take a few minutes for that to be completed, and you can, once it's finished, you can access your account, your tenancy, and you will once you log in, you will see a welcome page like this, right? So this is what for those of you who have done it, great. So you can follow along. And just to remind you that this session is, that Jane mentioned, is recorded. Now, those of you who have not done it, don't worry. You can do it now, or you can do it later. You can watch back this recording as a reference. All right, so let's get started with the introduction of what we're going to do today. So what is a digital assistant? Well, its job is simply to put it right, is to allow us to interact with computers, with digital device services using what we call natural conversation. Just speak naturally to it, right? Or type naturally to it. Don't need to speak like a robot to it. Just speak like, hey, how are you? Like the kind of natural language that we use to converse with one another. So the aim here is really to accelerate task completion. And for everyday users, this is to reduce the efforts to interact with digital services. We know that it's really cumbersome, and we want to simplify this. Of course, for those who are not so heavy, the casual users, we want to allow this experience to be further simplified. Maybe there's a guided access, somewhat even for everyone to be able to complete the task easily, right? And to provide more comprehensive services as well. So example things is like how you want to book a flight, how you want to book a vacation, and this the digital assistant will automate all these multiple independent processes. So, and this is to give you a more enhanced or better user experience. In the end, it's all about the user experience, and that you really appreciate, with the technology involved. So that's nutshell, what a digital assistant is and can do for you, right? So of course, this is 24/7. This is something that even a lot of people is asking for, that you can support 24/7, because human, we need to sleep. We can't do that. So a machine will need to sleep. Okay. Now, so you may ask me, hey, a chatbot can do the same. So what's the difference? Yeah, a chatbot this is actually, you can think of it as this is a next evolution, right? The digital assistant is what we call the next evolution of a chatbot. Okay, so a chatbot simulates conversations with humans, built with a single purpose in mind. So normally it's like one skill or one use case. A chatbot to process bank transactions, for example. And the users always has to initiate the conversation, and any artificial intelligence or AI is used to understand that conversation. Now, a digital assistant, on the other hand, it recommends solutions and completes the task beyond these simple transactional conversations. And DA is built for multiple use cases instead of like chatbot, like maybe to one use case. DA is for multiple use case, multiple scenarios. For example, an employee self-service assistant can schedule meetings, check your vacation balance, order a new laptop, okay? And the assistant can initiate conversations. And they do not have to rely on humans to do so. And they use AI for predictions and recommendations based on the user preference and data. So in a nutshell, that's the difference between a chatbot and the digital assistant. So think of it as chatbot has evolved to become the digital assistant. All right. So one key aspects of digital assistant is the ability to do automated skill coordination, which supports the multiple skills within an ODA, Oracle Digital Assistant, and routes the request to the right skill bots. So one digital assistant can have many skills. Okay, earlier we talked about that. It can be book flight. It can check your finances. So each of these is considered one skill. So a digital assistant you can put many skills to him, so you can train him to do that. And you can, like for example, a user makes an inquiry to the ODA. So the sophisticated two-phase machine learning and natural language understanding algorithms work to correctly route this inquiry to the right skill bot for processing. And this capability will make the aggregation of multiple skills possible. If without this capability, so as a developer, you would have to, do it yourself. You have to hand code the routing algorithms yourself. You have to design that. So with this new routing capability, it also handles all the unexpected inquiries, or what we call non-sequiturs. Not only is the inquiry routed successfully, but the system allows a previous conversation to be restarted once the non-sequitur is processed. So the ODA routing also allows one skill to pass relevant information to another skill if needed to handle the coordinated actions. So all of these routing actions are automatic and requires no programming. Okay. So you will get a chance to experience how this works in this particular workshop. All right, so hold your horses. We are getting to that soon. So this slide is to explain to you, hey, ODA can be used integrated with multiple channels as well, right? With ODA is open, it's agnostic, and it supports popular conversational channels. Example that you see here, like not limited to this, of course, Alexa, Facebook Messengers, Teams, Slack, etc. So ODA itself can be deployed in all of these channels and orchestrates multiple skills, which are single-purpose chatbots that access, extend, and enhance the backend applications. And ODA can work with multiple skills simultaneously, so allowing users to flip back and forth between different tasks using different backends in one conversation flow without confusing the assistant and without having to restart a separate chat session. Okay, so once you throw in a different question, you will not have to restart everything. You are smart enough to continue. Okay, pick the right skill bot to attend to your maybe a different question. So Oracle Digital Assistant, advanced natural language understanding and machine learning algorithms and skill routing features allow for this all to occur. All right. So for the skill store that you see here, Oracle also will be releasing pre-built skills for its our SaaS application portfolio like the ERP, HCM, and CX. And also partners and customers like yourself will also be able to create your own custom skills that ODA can consume. And these skills will be located in a skill store where you will be able to mix and match your skills, customize your digital assistant experience. And of course, at the back end, we support both Oracle SaaS as well as any third-party SaaS applications. So it's our part of our commitment to being open and agnostic, right? And ODA can even connect to on-prem applications with exposed APIs. So as long as you are okay with your backend data traveling into the cloud, because our Oracle Digital Assistant is a cloud-based platform only. Okay. Now this will be the Handson Lab link. So it's time to get our hands dirty. So let's jump straight into our Handson Lab. So I give the link is here. It's also available in the chat. Okay, if you can click on the chat, I already shared the link there. Okay, and the QR code is here as well. So let me just pause 1-2 seconds here for you to capture this. Okay. Okay, so once you have clicked on the link, you will come to this page. Okay, if you can see this is the lab. Okay, you can click on the workshop. So the objective here is to allow you to experience how to build our Oracle Digital Assistant, and you will be completing this in around 120 minutes time or less, and you will be able to build the skills. You can design the digital assistant, personalize it, and then you can also expose it to a web channel and a web application. Okay, so there are some prerequisites here. So if you can see the prerequisites here is you need to download these files. Okay, the pizza skill starter zip file, the ODA HOL 2019 zip file, and the pizza skill bot text file. So this will be required, and also you need to download the Oracle Web SDK later for you to use for the last lab, which is to create embed the ODA into your web application. So we created one sample for you. You can download this and use it. Okay, so without further ado, I will pass this time to Amir to continue to guide you in the lab. And if you have any questions, please post it onto the Q&A section. Thank you. Over to you, Amir.
Hi. All right. Hi. Thank you, Bernard.
Let me stop sharing.
So yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Amir, as introduced. So I will be handling the lab, going through the lab with you guys from lab 1 to lab 5, the rest of the lab. First things first, let's get started with designing the pizza skill. So basically what we need, as shared by Bernard, was the downloaded files, right? So when okay, let me just open that up. So the downloaded files that you showed, the prerequisite, just store it somewhere in your desktop, like I did. Make it easier for you to access, right? So I'll just put it right here, copy and paste it later on. And the download files is also in a zip format, so just use that one. And basically, last but not least, is that you need to have your own digital assistant instance. For this case, we're going to be using our own instance, this part here. How we do that? So when you register for the trial account, you will be access to the main Oracle infrastructure, okay, OCI page, right? Oracle Cloud Infrastructure page. So how you get to digital assistant is that you go on your left, there will be like a hamburger menu. So don't worry if you miss this part, because it's basically showed in the lab steps, and as well as we recorded it, so you will be able to revisit this. But okay, how you get to it is you go on the left-hand side, the hamburger menu, scroll down to the analytics and AI, and I mean, basically click on it and go to on the AI services, you'll see the digital assistant portion. So just click on it, and it will actually open up your compartment. So for my case, I'm using my own sandbox. So I'm going to have a lot of compartments in here, but yours will only have something called routes. You can create your own compartment, but that will be a different story. So just whatever compartment that you're in, you just create a digital assistant instance. It still works no matter what. And once it's created, just give it a name, some sort of description, and then a shape. Just do a development shape. For this case, we don't need to have production shape, obviously. Basically, just create that one, and you will be given a status that it's being created. They should take probably about 5 to 10 minutes. Won't take long. So once you're done, like I have here, I already created previously. It's going to be an active state. You open it up, and then you will be given the console. I mean the service access. How you open the console is over here. Just click on it, and it will bring up the console. So which I already have. So once it brought up, you'll be bring to the home page of the digital assistant console. So this is where we want to be. So for future references, you can just save this link somewhere, bookmark it, whatever. So you don't really have to go through that process every time you want to open it. Yep. Okay. All right. So I think that's it. That's the introduction part. Going back to the lab, we will be going to the design the pizza skill. So once you're done with that, you'll be ready to go through all the steps here. So in this lab, obviously, we will be doing some development to a skill. So like Bernard has mentioned before, we have digital assistant and then we have skills. So skills is what we are trying, basically what the bot will be performing. You can call it task, or even you can call it chatbot. Same thing. So for this lab, we'll create a composite back entity within the skills. So we're gonna make it more robust and more user-friendly as well. So we're going to add some logic to the skills dialog, and we're going to train and test the skill. So this will actually, once you go through it, you'll understand what we're going to do. So the skill is pre-built, but we're going to make it a lot better for you to use. All right. So I'm just gonna, you guys can go back and forth with the lab and the console environment, but for me, I'm just gonna maintain here so we don't get confused. So the first things first, let's access the user skill bot. Okay. On the same thing, on the homepage menu, go to the hamburger side. Under development, just click on skills, as you can see here. And it will bring you to a list of skills that you already have. For a new environment, you probably have a few pre-built skills like HCM, etc. It's already there once you create it. So don't worry about that one. So what we're going to do is basically first things first is import the skill that we downloaded previously, if you remember. So remember that I told you that you should save your all the prerequisite files somewhere in the desktop. So this is what we're going to use it for. We're going to import the pizza starter skill, the pizza skill starter. This is what we're going to begin with. I already done that. So basically you can just click on open and it will import. I will get an error because I already have it in here. As you can see, I imported a few minutes ago just to save some time. Once it's done, just bring it up, click on it. It will open up the console page for that skill. And just FYI, we recently had a refresh or a facelift of the digital assistant. The digital assistant console page. Some of the icons are totally different. They actually made a few changes into it. We were unable to update the lab because it was quite recent. So just bear with me for this one. The names of the icons doesn't change, so that should help you enough, because you just hover it and it will tell you what these are, and you'll get used to it in no time. So basically, the top of the list is intents based on the step. We can go to it to see the intents of the skills. So we have two intents here. We have order pizza and welcome pizza. As the name describes, welcome is basically just to get you into the skills, and order pizza is when you want to do some orders. So example utterances is down here. You can do some changes, but later on we'll have that. And then we can go into the entities, which is right under the intent section as I hover it. If you go there, you'll see that all already built in. So the ones with the, what do they call this, caps lock, it's called system entities, which is already pre-built for you to use. You don't have to worry about that. The ones that is, this normal convention naming is what was created, which is basically our own, is a custom entity. And we, if you go through one by one, you'll see that it's a value list with certain values, pizza size and pizza topping, the typical things that you want to have on your pizza. Right, so look at the train button. For that one, there's an update as well. You don't really have to train it once you import the skill because it's automatically trained. Previously, it wasn't automatically trained. That's why we have that kind of step. But for this one, if you look at it, there's a green check mark says that there's no training needed. So only focus on training HT. Don't worry about the CM. This is going to be a separate topic altogether. But basically, just make sure that they're both in green check marks. So I think we're good. We're good on that part. So let's give it a try. The tester bot, basically it's called preview, but it's basically a skill tester. It doesn't change the name, but the icon is a bit different. So we can try with saying, I want to order pizza. Let's see what it does. Oh yeah, just another thing. I think the first time you go into the tester, the channel would be, I think it will be webhook or something, the first by default. So we want it to be Oracle Web because we're going to be testing it on the web pages for this anyway. So just change the channel. This basically just gives you like the format, like because we have different kind of channels available. So we're going to be using web. So change it to Oracle Web and try that. So I did try that and it actually just gave me, actually routed me to the intent, but it doesn't do anything. It's basically like a static skills, right? So what we want to do is we're going to add a few things that allows us to, make an ordering pizza a lot more better. We can give more options to you. So, all right, so let's just close that up. And then let's go to the second step, which is the add composite bag entity. So we are at the entity page. What we're going to do is we're just going to need to add more. So we want to compile all this pizza dough, pizza size, pizza topping into one composite bag entity that will actually determine the order, like what the customer will be ordering. Just click on this green button, add entity, and give it a name. Let's call it a pizza bag. And don't worry about the description. This is the important part, the type. So we want to change that to composite bag and create entity. All right, so it should be creating quite quickly. All right, so basically this loading thing is going to take a bit. So just a reminder that my server, I'm hosting at USE's Ashburn data center, so it's gonna be a bit of a lag. But you guys can change that when you create the instance. It's based on where you're at, and the closer you are to it, the better the lag, I guess you call it. All right, so we have the pizza bag. We need to add the bag items inside according to the stats. All right. So let's start one. First, we don't have anything, so let's just create a bag item. Give it a name. Basically, the first thing we want to have is pizza size. Type is entity, obviously. Change the entity name to the pizza size. So remember, we have this at the beginning, right? So we just want to add this inside our composite bag. So we put that in. Maximum user input attempts. Let's put it as 4. And then error message, sorry. Blah, blah, blah. So we want to change this to whatever the lab has given us. To make things quick, you can just go in and copy and paste. I don't think that's an issue. So I'm just gonna go back here and copy and paste it. All right, so here we are. Okay. All right, so now we have this. So it basically means that if there is an error or out of the selection, it will actually give us promise an error message and guide us what to do. All right. So we need to add a prompt button as well. Leave all of this as is. Prompt from misconfiguration. Yep, that's fine. Extract with. We don't need to do that. And this is where we are. So prompt. So we need to add more. So as you click on more prompt, you add more, we call that columns on it. So, and the sequence number basically determines the first time what kind of prompt it would be, and the second time, if it's a second time, it will be a different prompt based on your sequence number, if that makes sense to you. But you just see. So pizza size for the value, what size of pizza would you like? All right. So it's the same thing as the above, but let's not worry about that. So we have that, and then we need a second prompt, I guess. Okay, instructions. Please choose small, medium, or large. Right. So we have 1 or 2 sequence. So this is the default one. We don't need that. We can just delete it. Okay, and then we have the prompts that was given, and that's it. So that's it. It will be auto-save. Don't worry about clicking on any saving button. If you've done that, just click on close on the top right-hand corner. So now your pizza bag will be updated with a pizza size entity. And we want to do this for the rest of this that we have, the dough and the topping as well. So let's do that. Click on bag item. So next on our list would be pizza dough. Okay, and then as usual, type as entity, and the entity name would be pizza dough, as we have already. Leave the description out. Prompt for value. Okay, description is just leave everything else as is, as default. We need to change the prompt for value as false. So let's go scroll down. Okay, extraction rules, prompt, validation. I think I missed that part. Okay, this one, prompt for value. It's gonna be under extraction rules. So prompt for value, it's gonna be a box. So, but you can just type false into it, and it will save. And that's all we need to do for the pizza dough. Okay, just close it. Look at our composite bag. Yeah, we have the second entity in. We also have sequence numbers for the entities. The same way. It's gonna be like which one is which sequence or which entity will be triggered first, and then it flows down. So let's add another one. This time is going to be pizza topping. All right. I think I missed, yeah. So anyway, pizza topping. It doesn't matter actually. Okay, and the back type. So type as entity and then address. So never mind, we change the entity name to pizza topping. And then if prompted, select override. Okay, so description, there's nothing in the description. Error message, sorry, we don't have that topping. So sorry, we don't have that topping. Let's put that in. You can just copy and paste it if you want. Prompt for disambiguation. Okay, so if you want to know more about all these different names, disambiguation, fuzzy match, you can just hover the I section and it will actually tell you what it is. So I'm not gonna go one by one because it's gonna take the whole lab, because we're gonna make sure that all this goes through. So just if you have your own time, just do that for yourself. So switched it on, and the prompt says, sorry, you can only order one topping. So okay, that's it. And then click close. So I'm gonna have 3. So pizza dough, pizza size. Okay, so it wasn't updating. So pizza size, pizza dough, pizza topping. We have all 3, and then we have the last one, which is delivery time. So we want to add another option of another feature of mentioning what time we close at, because obviously if we cannot deliver pizza 24 hours, right? I mean, there's a time limit of when do we want to deliver that. So we want to put that in. So just put delivery time as the name, type entity, and we're going to be using the system entity that I mentioned earlier. So it's called time. So just put that in there, and attempts going to be 4 as well. So we need to scroll down to the prompt section. Let's scroll down, prompts, and then Currently, there's no prom at the moment, so we can add prom in there. So when can we deliver for you? Okay, deliver for you. So this is going to be what the bot is asking once you come across this entity. And then click add validation rule button. So we're just gonna add validation and skip this one. We need to put both expression and error message in. So that's gonna be, if you miss that out, it's gonna have some error. So I am going to copy the expression field and then just type in the error message as in step 18 and 19. So you can see that it cannot be empty. So I'm going to go back here, scroll down to the steps. And we need to have this value is delivery time, hour, etc. And then in the error message, we need to add this. Sorry, we won't deliver up to 92. So I will copy the first one and type in the second one. All right. So let's do it again. Let's click on validation, copy the expression, and go to error message. Sorry, we only deliver up to it's gonna be, should be 24 hours, isn't it? All right, never mind. Okay, so click out of it. Click at the outside box and it will be saving those changes. All right, so we have that. So we're just gonna close that one up, and the pizza bag will be updated with delivery time as well. Cool, yeah, we have that. So okay, we have all that. Our composer bag entity here is finished, and now what we need to do is we want to associate the entity with the intent. So basically, this entity will work with the order pizza intent. So we want to associate that with it. So we go back to our intent section at the top, as you remember it. And then, okay, let it load for a while. So under the order pizza intent, if you click on it, you'll see on the right-hand side, the intent entities. So this intent doesn't have any entities to it. So what it does is extract the keywords and phrases from the user input, right? So we're gonna add that. So we're gonna add entity, and let's find what we call pizza. So just can search the whole thing, but just to filter it out. Okay, we have pizza back here. Add to it. So now you have the intent order pizza associated with the pizza bag entity we just created. So that's done. Okay. So now what we need to do is implement the logic. Basically, we want to allow that. The bot, because we control the flow of the bot, right? In the Dialogflow section. So we want to apply this entities logic into the flow so that the bot can interact with it as well. So step 4, on the left hand side, go to the third icon. It's going to be called flows. Excuse me. So this is where the Dialogflow is. So basically, to give a bit of explanation about the Dialogflow, Dialogflow is basically the way the bot is going to be interacting to it, right? So you determine what that's going to be. And the flow starts in a waterfall method or sequential, as we call it. The top part, this is basically YAML programming, if you're familiar with that. But just to mention, the top part is where you declare the variables, etc. Once you go into something called states, that's where the flow begins. So the first one will be the first flow that will be interacted. So of course you want to put it as an intent because you want to determine once the user interact with the bot, what does the bot wants to do, right? So based on what the user type hello. If the user type, they just disregard the greetings and go into, okay, I want to order a pizza straight away. So this intent determines what is what. So start with that, and then the actions will determine where to go. So we will have order pizza and we'll have welcome pizza. As you remember, these two wasn't the intents. Unresolved is basically means that if we type something gibberish, it will consider as unresolved. So based on the lab, if you go back to the lab, implement the pizza ordering logic. Within the context variable section, we want to add something called pizza bag variable. So this is to declare that we have the pizza bag variable that we just created. So what you can do is make sure that Okay, another thing to remember is that the indentation has to be right. It has to be 2 steps, I mean 2 spaces after the main, when you describe a property or a variable. So just follow what you have in here. So make sure it's in line, and pizza bag, we declare that. So the step 3 is update the text and transition properties in the start order pizza state. So remember that each of these components, or what do you call that, sections, is called states, right above. So we want to go to, this is going to be a start order pizza state, and we want to change the text as well as the transition. So transition determines where it goes to next, and we want to go to entities next. So right now it's just returning the same state. So text, first things first. Okay, let's get that order sorted. Let's remove that and type. Let's get the order sorted. Okay, and then transition. Now it's return. So we want to change it to next, as per the instruction. So next, and then change that to something called resolve entities. Okay. We don't have this yet, so if we leave it as this, it's going to have an error. So let's go back to the step and go to the next, what we need to do. So click copy in the following code box and paste the copy code below the start order pizza. So I need to go back to the shop. Go to the logic. Let's go. Okay, this is the one that we want. So we can just copy this whole box here. And then, as you can see, is the rest of the pizza, state that we want to, pizza composite bag that we want to implement. Let's copy that, go back to your flow, and we want to have it right underneath the start order pizza, right? So just click on enter, give it some space, and then make sure that it's in line. But I think we're gonna have some indentation and errors anyway. So paste. So since we copied it from that side, as you can see, the indentation is gonna be like crazy different. It's gonna be a bit step. So we need to change that. We need to update it so that it aligns with the rest of the flow. So if I really just to go to the preset pizza dough, click on tab once, it will actually line it up quite nice. So properties variable is going to be inside, okay, as well as value. So transition as well needs to be in line with properties, and next needs to be. So you need to have that kind of indentation to match properly. Typical syntax error kind of thing. So show pizza order, same thing, component and properties in line, text should be a bit of inside, transition should be in line, and return should be underneath as well. Next error, same thing, let's put it in. Okay. Start welcome. Okay, it should be the same. All right, so we have that in line already. We to note just we did is that we added a context variable pizza bag and use it in the resolve entities state, which is this one. Okay, I did not change this one. Okay, design entities. Let's make sure that it's in line again. Prompts cancel policy transition X cancel. Okay, that should be correct. Yep. Okay. So the resolve entities is going to be calling the system component, and then we will actually trigger that composite bag entity that we just created. So this is what we associate with. And then the next thing we need to do is just validate and train the skill. So remember that when I told you that it's going to be the first time that you import is going to be automatically validated. But since we add, okay, actually train. Yeah, so you can see that once we add a few stuff, we made a few changes, we add some intents, we add some entities, it actually changes says that the training needs to be added. So just submit it and wait for it to train. So, okay, the basic just skill trainer ready to use, and now we need to wait for the intents. Okay, so now it's ready to use, as you can see here. And then you just click on validate. So validate it will actually check for any potential problems with the code. What you want to know, what you need to look at is just close that up. You have to see that there's a bug here. So it will show you that certain things that you need to update. So this is, I guess it's an old code. So we're not going to be using this anymore. Remove that, and then we just keep on validating, and it will actually show. So yellow is like a warning sign. It doesn't affect much of the code. A red mark will be what you need to make changes, that it's going to have problems. But anything that is like different, like blue, let me show you. If it's blue, it's just yeah, this one. So blue is just a recommendation. Consider doing this, consider doing that to make the flow better. So don't worry about that one. Right. So let's say we're done, we validated, we trained the bot, and nothing is wrong, nothing is out of context, and everything is in order. So we can test the pizza skill now. Let's see. Let's hope it works. Right. Click on preview to test. Same thing as we did earlier. So let's reset this and then type in, I want to order a medium pizza. Oh, let's see. Okay, right. So as you can see, let's get that sorted. We just stopped there. Now it continues on to the resolve entities, and it gives you what kind of pizza would you like. So remember that the back entities we have size and topping as well. So I think we already skipped the size because we already put order medium pizza. So let's just click on meaty, and then it goes to the next question, which is when can we deliver for you? I want to put 9 p.m. just in case. And then, okay, so we're getting you a medium meaty at 2100, which is 9 p.m. This will be on our regular base. So the bot did not ask us what size we want because we already, mentioned already what was the size. So they picked up from that. So this is, we cover that up in the composable entity. So the bot remembers what we want to do and go for that one. So the same case, if we put the time as well. So let's say, can I place an order for a medium meaty pizza? So it's meaty pizza. To be delivered, okay, at 9 p.m. I'm just gonna put 9 p.m. like this. Just gonna see if that works. Yep. So it just keeps all those questions that we had because you already have all the information it needs, and it just gives us the prompt of, okay, so we are getting you a medium meaty pizza at 12, which is at 9 p.m. This would be on our regular base. So as you can see, that's the reason, that's the point of us that we made that composite back entity, so that because not everyone comes in and say hi, they just come in and order, or they just come in and put in what they want in the order. So this is what it's for, right? So yeah, that's actually what we have. So there's a lot of testing in this lab, but you can do that if you want, but you generally get the idea. Let's do one last thing. I want a small meaty pizza. Okay, I want a small meaty pizza. So to show that even if you change your mind beforehand, like even you change your mind during order, the bot can actually pick that up and replace the old value to the new value. So actually make it large. It's going to be asking me when can we deliver again, because we didn't use a different prompt for that. So it's going to make the same prompt. So again, I'm going to put 9 p.m. and let's make sure that it actually, okay, so we're getting you a large meaty pizza at 9 p.m. So yep, so I actually asked for a small first, and then I changed it to large, and it actually caters for that. So that's good. We have that already. This means the skill is working. Let's get out and publish the skill. So how you publish it is that you can see that the current state of the skill is called draft. Draft means you can edit it. And if you publish it, you won't be able to edit it anymore. So make sure when you publish it, it's actually working, So pizza skill, this is the one, I think this is the one that I did. So it's draft. How you publish it, just go back to your skill, the skill list, go to the skill that you want to publish, open these options or these 3 dots and click on publish. So publishing, I'll show you what it means to publish a skill, besides not being able to edit it afterwards, meaning that you lock the skill. The other thing you need to publish is because you want to add it into your digital assistant, right? So that will be on our next lab. Okay, let's go. So lab 2, I suppose. Let's go there. Lab 2, setting up the shopping center digital assistant. So this is going to be another skill. If you remember that we actually added a thing called ODA Hall 2019, ODA _Hall. So this is basically the shopping center skills that we want to add in. Or sorry, shopping center digital assistant. That's the different name. So basically how you'll do that is that you need to import it as well, the same way you import the piece of skill. So go back to the console, open the hamburger menu on the left-hand side, and you can see that under skills, you have something called digital assistant. This, I think, has been explained in length by Bernard, at the start of the workshop just now. So digital assistant is what holding all these skills together. It helps you to control multiple skills at once. So you don't really have to, deploy different kind of skills in a different, in one bot. Anyway, same way, close that up, import digital assistant on the right-hand side, and go over to your ODA Hall 2019 and open it up. So you actually start importing. Takes a few minutes. I mean, not that long, but 1 or 2 minutes. And once it's done, you have it over here, and then you open it up, and it will actually show you what is currently inside, like what skills that you currently has. Okay, so now we have a financial bot skill, and then we have a retail bot skill, right? So financial bot skill, if you click on it, the general information is going to be displaying here. What is the display name? What is the version and platform? Description, and then the invocation as well as the example utterances of how to enter the skill. Okay, so that would be the same way for the retail bot. So these two are basically published skills that is already added here since we import it. It's already in there. And then scroll down, same thing, invocation and utterances. So invocation, if you hover, it'll tell you what it is, but basically it's the way to invoke the skill directly without, if you go in, you just type sports store, it would actually go into the skill and start interacting with you based on the skills flow. Okay. Going on the left-hand side, we have intents as well. So intents, it's basically pre-built with only 3 intents. You have exit intent, help, and unresolved. So as the name implies, exit is used when you want to exit the bot or the current skill that you are into. You have a few over here. You can add more if you want. Help is basically, it's going to bring up, the description is there. It's going to bring up a menu of what you can do within the digital system. Like what can you do in here? You can do a financial check. You can order a pizza, etc. So it will show you what it is, and you can also add a few in there. Unresolved, obviously, it's an important kind of intent, I guess. So it matches user input that doesn't match in well. So some people try to break the bot, typing rubbish, etc., curse words, if you will. This is where it's going to fall under. It's going to be recognized as unresolved, and it's going to give out a different output saying, okay, I don't recognize this. Please type something else or whatever, whatever you put in. So that's the intents. And then we don't really have to go to resource bundles and analytics. I mean, insights is basically self-explanatory. It tells you how your bot is doing. Is there how much percent is going unresolved? How much percent is going into specific skills? So resource bundle is just for language, if you want to add different languages in there. And then we're going to look into the gear icon, which is the configuration, or the settings. And then we have the general information. And what we want to look into is the configuration. So configuration is where you determine the routing parameters, the confidence threshold. So this is just the technical talk of the system itself, the technical section. You can change this, but I would just recommend leaving it as default if you're not familiar with what they are. So these are basically percentages that they are confident whatever you type is the correct intent that they want to go for. So there's a bit more explanation. If you how if you click into it, it actually explains. There's like a little minor explanation down there that tells you what it is. But I don't want to go through all that. So conversation parameters is basically what the bot will answer if it reaches that parameter. So let's say an example here, this one, help prompt. So when you trigger the help intent, this is what it's gonna say. Welcome, here are some things you can do, etc. etc. All right. So let's give it a test. I think it's already trained since we import. Yes, it's already trained. So click on preview. I'll show you that. Do we have two skills at the moment? So I can show you that we have. We're gonna have multiple. Okay, it was at the top. We're gonna have multiple skills inside here that you can do. So help me. It's one of the help intents. Or you can say hi. It actually works as well. So it's okay. So as you can see, it brings up hey, welcome, here are some of the things you can do, just we saw just now. And it has digital bank, which is the financial bot. And then we have the sports store, which is the retail bot. So we have two things we can do in here compared to just now. It was just one bot, right? The pizza order, and all we can do is just order a pizza. So this one we can do two different things in here. So that's digital assistant. And our next lab, I think the next step is we're going to add another skill, the pizza skill that we created, into this digital assistant. So you're going to see how it looks, and it's really cool. All right, so let's reset that, close the tester, and go to adding the pizza to the digital assistant, or in short, DA. Let's go to the skills on the top left-hand side of the icon, and we're going to click on add skill. So this is when I mentioned that you need where the publish bot comes into play. As you can see, we only have like 3 items, and the status has to be published for you to actually see all the skills that you can add into the digital system. That's why it says compatible. So if it's in draft, you won't be able to see it here. It has to be in publish mode. So now we have financial bot and retail bot already takes. We could just take this one. It will add the pizza skill into our digital assistant, and that's it. Now we can use it. But before we start using it, let's make sure that it's actually personalized to your way, right? So next lab, lab 3, personalize your digital assistant. Okay, so let's go back to skills, or we could just click done. That's same that works the same way. So now we have 3 skills in here. So we already put in pizza skill in there. What we want to do is explore it and personalize it to make sure that we can, invoke it properly. Change the invocation name, customize the built-in system, and test the utterances. So let's go. So okay, pizza skill. The name is pizza skill. Everything else is called that way. And if you scroll further down, the instruction model, the invocation is even called pizza skill. It doesn't look nice. So let's call it Pizza King, as mentioned in the lab. And then the example utterance, you want to add something called order pizza. Oh, it was saving. Sorry, it was saving there once I changed that. So order pizza. Click outside the box, and it will actually start saving for you, and you have 2 utterances. So an example utterance, this is basically because we didn't have an utterance to begin with. Excuse me. So we can just delete that. Let's click on delete. And now we have 1 example utterance with invocation called Pizza King. Okay, so it's gonna be, you need to train it. There's a red mark there that says that you need to train it. So click on that. It's basically the same thing. Submit. So just start training, because we added a new skill. It wants to be able to recognize that. Okay, so train and ready to use. Okay, so we can test it out. Let's click on preview. Okay. Oh, it's going to be on the top. It always does that. So just scroll up and down if you don't see it, the preview box. So first message, go to Pizza King to place my pizza order. let's see if this works. So we're just gonna test it out. We're just basically making sure that it behaves how we want it to behave. So we're just gonna run some text in, and as you can see, it straight away goes to my pizza skill. So that actually works well. That's good. Okay, so let's try something called Pizza King, which is the invocation name that we did. Okay. Yep. So look up the Pizza King. So basically asking us to order a pizza, we click on that, it actually kicks off the conversation of ordering the pizza. Right, so it's going to take a while for it to load. Yep, so let's get it started. And what size of pizza would you like? Yeah, that's it. That's how it works. So reset that and Pizza King to check my order. Let's see. Okay, let's sort out the pizza for you. But it becomes unresolved. I think this is because we don't have check my order in the pizza section. So it got confused and it becomes a Pizza King, but it doesn't know what to do with it. There's no intent in Pizza King to check my order. So it doesn't have that. So let's reset that. We know it doesn't work. We can change that in the future if we want. So I want a large meaty pizza. Why is it always meaty? Okay, so let's see. Yep, so it's got that pizza in and it's gonna be working on when can we deliver it for you. As you can see, it picks up all the stuff, intent order pizza, and then sentence it comes in. So the right hand side, the routing, the conversation is basically tells you it's like a log. You can check what's going on with the bot, right? Now you can see that the entity large topping is meaty and pizza bag is null. So you can see that. So conversation as well is basically the same thing. It shows you what's going on with the scale, which states it's going into, right? Okay, so I think we're good to go with that. So let's go to step 3. You can customize the built-in system intents and the prompts that are driven by them. So first, let's add some utterances in the built-in. So we want to add different kind of intents in our built-in digital assistant intents. So on the left-hand side, it's a leaf. I think the icon is a leaf of some sort. I don't know, but it's actually the intents. So let's go there, click on help, and we want to add a few of the examples. So the lab actually gives you one. There's a few there you can copy and paste, but I don't want to go back and forth, so I'm just gonna type in. So utterances to add under examples, enter it, and it should be there. Yeah, somehow, yeah, that's the new one. And what can you do? Okay, what things you do? And then what can I ask you? So it's gonna be adding in my help intent and all these things. Okay, so that's okay. And then that's it. We already added a few things we want in the help intent. Next is we want to change the configuration, the prompts. Remember when I showed that under the conversation parameters, we can change the text of how the bot responds. So we want to change the welcoming text, or basically the help prompt. So now it says welcome. Here are some things you can do, but we want to change it to welcome. I can do the following things for you. Following things for you. Right. So click that outside the box. It will auto save, as you can see at the bottom. And then as you can see also, training is needed because we actually did some intent changes. As usual, submit and train. Give it a bit of time for it to train, and you can test the utterances and the modified prompt. Step 4, the next step for our lab. So we can click the tester icon and we can see the changes that we made. So can someone help me? We actually just added this. And it should actually pick up as a help intent. All right, so it did. Let's go top. So here, welcome. I can do the following things for you, which we just make the text changes. And as you can see now, we have Pizza King skill, and we have Sports Store, and we have 3 different skills. Yep. Okay, so that's it for our lab 3. We'll just finish the digital system. Excuse me. All right, so we're done with that. Close the tester, and I think the next will be evaluating the routing behaviors. So let's take a short break. Get some coffee, or if everybody wants to follow up the rest, whether if you left behind a bit. We'll just take a break about 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. Right now it's actually 2 p.m. my time. We'll be back around 2:10, I guess. I think we have the time. So because we only have 2 labs left and it's not that long. So let's see you guys back in 10 minutes. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the lab workshop. Hope everybody got their coffees or catch up to the latest lab. The latest lab, which is lab 4. Okay, so lab 4 is basically evaluating routing behaviors. So we want to make sure that we, test or basically check the digital assistant for any, unwanted behaviors. We want to identify a few things. Basically, we want to know what the no match does, implicit invocation, all these things. We'll go one by one to see if it works as we intended it to before we actually put it out into the public space, right? So let's start. Let's see, the first step is no match. Let's go to the digital assistant. And we want to check if we put something that doesn't match what any of the invocation or any of the skills that we have, what does it do? So click on preview, basically the tester itself. Okay, the first thing we want to know is if it doesn't do anything. So I want a burger. We don't have a burger skill. So let's put that in and see what it does. So it gives the no matches were found. Here are some of the things you can do. So it gives out a message saying that it doesn't match anything, and it instead, offers a different kind of the skills that we have as an option. So if you go to the routing, you can see that the skill went to unresolved, 0%. So that's the current confidence threshold, candidate, etc., etc. So these are basically the logs that says what's going on. Doesn't understand what's going on. Okay, so that's the no match. Okay, we know that it doesn't do anything. But we have an option to go through different kind of skills, and we actually, try to narrow down our selection. The bot tries to narrow down the user's selection so that we can, get the task going. Right, so let's reset that. We're done with the no matching skills. So implicit invocation. So we want to check if we send, put a skill in, type an intent in, let's say we send money. Okay. And I notice that the routing resolves to the digital bank. So it goes through the digital bank skill and right straight away into the send money intent. Yeah, so from which account do you want to make a payment? So notice that it doesn't give any options of different skills. It straight away knows that, okay, this is what you want to do. You want to go to the digital bank and you want to send money. So it goes right in and start doing the job for you. So we see that if that's what we want to do, if that's how we want it to be, then this should work okay. If not, you'd have to come into the skill and start configuring the intents the way that you want it to work. So now it's good, it's fine. It's routing correctly. If we can we scroll further down? Okay, so yeah, so the green section says it score 100% for the financial bot, and under financial bot, it scores 100% for the send money intent. So we can see that what's the current score threshold is. So this threshold things. Remember, if I showed you earlier that this is the confidence threshold, 0.8, 0.1, 0.6, all that. So that's the percentage of it to determine where it wants to go. All right. Okay, so we have that routing sorted. Let's go next to step 4, step 3. So, okay, just to note, in these examples, you might get slightly different results what I showed, but that's fine. Step 3, explicit invocation. So we want to put in an explicit invocation. So type, I want to send money from digital bank and press enter. So let's see what it does. I want to send money from digital bank. Okay, so it actually goes in and says that from which account do you want to make a payment? So it actually goes to that send money from digital bank. It actually goes in directly because if you remember that, if you notice that the keyword from the user, it's almost similar. You have the send money, and you also mentioned the digital bank skill. So the by right actually goes in, and it just goes in and asks which account you want to make payment. If you go to routing, obviously the score is going to be 100% for digital bank, and scroll further down and the explicit invocation. So digital bank is the invocation. We had mentioned that and got a high score on it. So it actually goes in. So, but if you look at the candidate skills, you can see that there's different scores here. And of course, the financial bot has the highest one because we mentioned that the part of the invocation. So you can actually see that the behavior of the bot, like what does it just showing in the background, actually mentions what are the confidence threshold, the win margin, etc., etc. I don't think I'll explain into details what these are because it's going to be a long story inside it. And we want to, after this, we want to actually publish the bot to a web page. So that's really cool. It will show you in a bit. And it's actually quite simple as well. It's not exactly something like having a server up or something. You can just use your own desktop. So anyway, we'll keep on testing and then we'll just go to the next slide. The next is basically ambiguous utterance. So ambiguous utterance basically is that you type in something that's very ambiguous that the bot, you don't know exactly the right intent because we have two things. I'll show you, okay, what is my balance? We didn't even mention anything about digital bank or money, but we just say, what is my balance? And the bot is undecided that you want to go to gift card balance in Spot Store because we actually have that intent in Spot Store, and we have balances intent in digital bank as well. So it actually gives you an option. Which one do you want to go? Either or none of the above. Obviously, if this means that you want to cancel and start over. So, but it shows you which one do you want to go for because it's unsure. If you go into routing, scroll down. So go to the candidate skills. You can see that skill financial bot and retail bot both has 100% because they both have the same kind of intent. So things like this that you want to take note of in the future because maybe you want to make it easier for the user. So you want to specify directly like if it's balances or if it's check what is my balance. That generally means that they want to check the balance of your bank, right? I don't know. Depends on how you want to span out the flow. So since we have give the card balance in Spot Store as well, so it actually gets undecided where to go. So determines have a kind of a business model of how you want it to flow through and set it up from there. Okay, so that's the ambiguous. And then the next is context awareness. Let's reset it. I go in. So what is my balance in percentage? Let's see. So it's actually the same thing. And then we cite the unsure, we'll go to balances in digital bank. So we'll go in and select checking. Okay, so we're already inside digital bank skill. If you click on checking, it gives us the value of our checking balance. And then again, so how much do I have in my savings? How much do I have in my savings? Okay, for which account balance? Okay, this is okay. Takes a while for it to check, but basically this is it. This is balance checking account is $2,000. And how much do I have in my savings? And you should just give us what is my savings account. So what we just did is that when we type what is my balance, it does not know which skill to go to, either gift card, the spot retail, gift card and spot retail, or the balances in my banking skill. So, but once we already selected balances in digital bank, we already are inside the skill, right? So the bot doesn't have to make a decision the next time you ask about savings. It doesn't really have to consider anything else because you're already inside that. So actually, it's gonna look for the intents within that skills. So we're inside digital bank, and then current context is digital bank skill, and the balance is 100% for checking out my savings. So that's basically context awareness. It's aware that it's inside the skill set, and it just doesn't consider anything outside of it because it knows that you're already in there to use that skill. So let's reset that. Go to non-sequitur. So non-sequitur refers to interrupting a conversation flow by changing the subject midway. Here's an example. So let's do an example for the non-sequitur. Let's say, I want to order a small meaty pizza. Okay. Put it in. So let's just get the order sorted. What can we deliver for you? So to simulate this, we already go in and order pizza, but midway we have this thought that, oh, do I have enough money in my credit card or in my bank account? Can I order this pizza? You don't want to order it at the end of the day. You'd be like, oh, sorry, not enough balance. Waste of effort. So anyway, let's go in. Oh, do I have enough money on my credit card? So remember that we have that balance is digital bank still within our digital assistant. So we should be able to. So at this point, the DA detects that the intent corresponds to digital bank scale and asks if user wants to switch. So do you want to go to balances in digital bank? Let's see. Yes. Okay. So when we go in, it goes in the balance of your credit account is negative. Oh, never mind. The remaining credit is $4,000. $4,000. So we have enough money in there. So again, once you got that information in, the bot recognizes, okay, so you were ordering pizza previously. Do you want to, continue ordering? And obviously you go yes, because we want to come back and order, because we know already, okay, I have enough money now to order pizza and I should come back and order it. So when can we deliver it for you? If you type 9 p.m., it will actually completes that order for me. So that's cool. We have that already, and we know that our account balance is ready. So that's basically non-sequitur. It actually, what we would call that, interrupting the conversation midway, and it actually can do that and bring it back to you to where you were. Right. So the last but not least is non-sequitur complex conversation. So we take it a notch higher. See, like if we try to interrupt, how much can we interrupt that allows it to actually works, doesn't break the bot. So I want to order a large pizza. Okay. We always want a large pizza at 9 p.m. today. Okay. Okay, so it's asking me what kind of pizza I want. Okay, that's typical. And then instead of selecting the kind of pizza, or do I have enough money? Let's go again. Do I have enough money? Do you want to switch to balances in digital bank? I would say yes. Okay, and it will actually show me for which account do you want your balance, saving, checking, credit. So instead of selecting which account type, let's do another interruption. So we want to go to a different skill. So let's type, how about my gift card balance? See if it actually go in. Do you want to switch to gift card balance in support store? Yes. So it actually detects that as well. And we want to switch that to CK. Select savings as your account type. So what is your gift card number? Let's see, just 100, just for the instruction. And it will actually inform me my gift card balance, overall gift card balance is 169. Do you want to resume balances in digital bank now? So it actually remembers that I was in digital bank previously, not pizza skill yet, because I was, going back and forth. So we want to go back to digital balance and then check our savings account, because we want to complete this task first before we go back to pizza. Savings. And the balance is $2,600. And do you want to resume order pizza? Yeah. So we did about 2 tiers of kind of interruption, and it actually remembers and comes back and complete our order. So we don't really have to do anything else. It's always meaty. I'm changed to veggie just for this case. So we're getting you a large veggie at 9 p.m. This would be on our regular base. So now we actually determines that it works well. So let's take some time to look at the conversation wise, and look that we have different kind of the traffic light color. So we start off with start ordering pizza, right? The blue icons. go. And then in the middle of the way, we change to our financial bot because we want to check our account balance. So there's an interruption here and start the balance, and then midway, we check our gift card as well. And then after we're done, we come back here, and then we come back here, and we finish the task. So we can actually do that kind of interruption, and it goes back and forth between skills. So this is what it means to be, what it means when Bernard mentioned that the bot can go horizontally as well as vertically in terms of round to different kind of tasks and skills. So we're done. We actually finished those kind of tests, and we have the bot working as intended. So now we want to go to exposing the bot to a public space. Let's go back to this workshop. Let's minimize that and expose the digital assistant to a web channel. Right. So in this section, we'll publish it with a web channel, and then we're going to be using something called Web SDK, which is available. The current release, if I'm not mistaken, is about 20.4. So anyway, let's go back to, I think it was in the introduction, Bernard was showing where you get that. Yeah, this is the SDK that was mentioned by Bernard. I don't think we didn't manage to open it earlier, but anyway, this is where we store the RDA or Oracle Digital Assistant Web SDK or SDKs for that. So what we're going to be looking at is the native client SDK, which is obviously the Web SDK is the name, and look at the top one, which is always the latest. So you have the log updates, like what's new with this on top of the previous ones. We also have the legacy ones that if you want to, you don't want to use the latest ones with, this error or bug or something. But the latest one is always the best. Just click on this, you will download for you, and you have it. So I already have it. I already save it in my my SDK. I already save it in the desktop that I showed earlier. It's nice to have these things saved up in one place, so you know what to do with it. But it's going to be a zip file. So this is where you download it. Just bear in mind, it's in the link in the introduction section. So you can just go there and find out what you want to do with it, right? So first things first, we want to set up channels, right? Because we need channels to integrate or to interact with the web portal or the website that we want to publish it. So on the left-hand side, open the hamburger menu. Under the development, you'll see there's something called channels. Click on it, and it will route you to the channel section. Okay, takes a while. Let's minimize that. Okay, so here we are. Make sure we're on the users. The rest is just different components of the system of the ODA that we're not going to look at the moment. What we focus on will be the main channel. So click on add channels. It will pop up what do you call this form for you to fill up to finish the creation. So give it a name. I'm just going to put my initial. So I'm going to say web shopping. Oh. Just give it any name. It's fine. Description, you don't really have to put it. So the channel type is basically different kind of pre-built or built-in, different kind of built-in channels that we already have. We have Twilio, Slack, Teams, the major ones, Cortana, Oracle iOS, and Android, as well as web. So webhook is basically the custom channel that if you want to integrate with some sort of application that requires a custom webhook, you can use that. But otherwise, you can just use something called Oracle Web or whatever platform that you're using. So for this case, we will expose it to a website. So we're just going to do Oracle Web and allow domains. Just going to put asterisk, which means all, and then we're not going to have client authentication enabled. So just take that off. Don't worry about the expiration. Not our kind of requirement at the moment. Click create, and it will start creating the channel. And you can see that I have it here, en_web shopping. The channel is currently not enabled because it doesn't have a skill that it routes to. So we need to select the digital assistant that we just created just now that we tested. So click on this icon, drop down. We'll give a lot of list. all you gotta do is just, oh my God, let me just filter it. I'm not able to filter because of the, all right, there we go. The interface, you know. So what was it? Is Oda Hall, right? Yeah, so this is the one, Oda Hall 2019. Let's click on that and it will update my channel with it. It drops to that channel and we can just enable it. We need to enable it, by the way. And then now that it's enabled, just keep it there. Scroll down, we have everything right. So secret keys for authentication, you don't need to worry about that. The channel ID is what we need. So I'm just gonna copy this and put it in a notepad somewhere to make things easier. So we can just use it in the future. We're gonna need this in the future, in a bit, not that far distant future, but it's just in a bit. So save that up and then let's go back to the lab. We already created that channel, so we want to set up a web page. So to create a web page for which users can access the DA, we need to create a folder called chat page in the desktop section, obviously. And then download the chat page.zip into the folder and then unzip it. And your folder should now contain index.html, blah, blah, blah. So just click on that, it will download for you. You'll see it in download page. I already have that in my the page that in my desktop that I created an ODA page. So it's called chat page in here. I already transferred it here. And what you want to do is unzip it inside. So I'm just gonna unzip here. I'm just gonna go to 7-zip and extract here, just to make things easier. So it will give me a list of, you know what? I think it doesn't look nice. So I'm just gonna do that. And we scripts, image, CSS goes into there. Yep. So that was it. So we have index.html, we have the scripts folder, images, and CSS folder. So this is basically what we need to start off with the system, right? So we're done with that. And then we need to copy the native client web SDK. So this is a bit confusing because it wasn't explained in detail. But remember when I showed you that you can download this native SDK files. So once you have that, you should also bring it to your folder in your desktop. I already have here, native client SDK. Mine is version 21.4. It's a bit old, but it's fine. So what you can do is just bring it up into the chat page, and then you just extract it here. So it's in zip mode, so we need to extract it. So once you extract, you'll have the Oda native client SDK folder. You go inside it, go to native client SDK.js, and then there's something called web SDK.javascript. So, sorry, not cut. You copy it. No, just don't need to cut it. Just copy it, go back out, go to, yeah. So this is where we have the chat page. Go into scripts and just paste it inside. So just do that, copy and paste it inside something called scripts inside the chat page folder that you unzip recently. So that's it. That's all you need to do. Just put it in there. And then let's go back. Let's redone that. You're good to go. So add a chat widget to the web page. So now that we have that, we need to add a script, HTML script inside our index.html file. So you have to use an editor. You can use anything like something like Visual Code, even Notepad or Notepad++. Up to you. So what we need to do is just copy this, the whole thing, script, var, widget settings, this thing, all this within the web SDK. So okay. So this also isn't explained in detail, but I'll show you. Let's go back to the folder. There's HTML. I will edit it with my Notepad++ just to make things easier. It's kind of small, isn't it? Just bring it up. I'll use my Visual Code so you can see a lot better. Let's open file. I need to open everything. So let's go to my desktop. Oh, I have this thing here. ODA page. So okay, yeah, I think it looks nice here. So this is the index.html page. I mean, web HTML page that HTML file that you want to edit. So you leave the whole thing here. What we want to do is to add the code is right after this div, the line 32, and between the closing component of the body, because we want this code to be inside the body of the HTML page. So I copied it and then now I paste it. So yeah, it looks fine. Script, opening script, ending script is all there. Okay, so now we have that. Just leave it there. And then the next thing we need to do is obviously based on this step is getting the URI. Because if you look inside, you'll see that we need to have here under the var chat widget settings, put your URI here, put your channel ID here. We have our channel ID. Remember that we saved that one. So we need is URI. So URI is basically, this also wasn't explained by this. I think it's explained in here. URI is your ODA console, your digital assistant console, which is this thing. It's the link in the URI browser here. So, but it's not the whole thing. Don't copy the whole thing. So it's basically right after the HTTPS. We start off with ODA here, and just bring it up until the oraclecloud.com. Right? Remember that. So it's actually from ODA, and then there's this unique number that you have, right until the OCI.oraclecloud.com. So that's it. That's your URI. So just copy that. Go to your Visual Code Builder and paste it here. So make sure to keep the opening and closing parentheses, just parentheses, right? Yeah, just keep it like that. Say paste it. And then we need our channel ID, which we save in our notepad, trusty notepad. I'm just gonna copy this. Go back in and paste it here. Okay, channel ID. So our channel ID is done, our URI is done, and Controls S, which is gonna save your file. So that's it. If you go back into your test the DA, yeah, so that's it. So we need to test the DA now. Let me just confirm that my channel is working. Okay, it's enabled, it's on, channel ID is 44EA. Let's see. Okay, that's the correct channel ID. So how to test it? Just go back to your folder, the one that you extracted the chat page, right? Just launch the index.html. So this is the basically, you don't really have to put it somewhere in a server or something. Just launch it using your own browser. It will still work as long as you have internet connection. So it's gonna be using your own your local host, but that's fine. I'm just gonna test it from our page, right? So you have this icon here. Just open it up, and this is basically the chat widget. It's quite simple, but it works. So if you say hi or you say send help or I need help, it will actually open up your digital assistant. So you can see, welcome, I can do the following things for you. And it looks a lot nicer than the tester, I know. And now you can start ordering pizza. So let's get it sorted. What kind of pizza do you want? I want a medium. Okay, medium pizza again, 9 p.m. Okay, so that's it. You have your fully working digital assistant chat widget on your local host. And you can just keep it running and keep using it for, you want to show it to somebody or you want to test it out or do a demo or whatever, you can do that as well. So how you're going to do, okay, another thing I need to show you that once, let's say you finish with this, you want to reset the session, what you can do is just go back to your channel, select the channel that you associate the assistant with, and just reset the session. Take some time, but it actually will reset the whole bot session and you can start over if you say hi. So yeah, so now you can start over and do, maybe you want to go to digital bank instead, so you can do that as well. So you can keep on repeating that part. All right, so that's it. I think that is the end of our workshop. I hope everyone finds it useful. You'll have this recording later on to use as reference, but just keep going through the lab. You don't really have to do everything. You can just go through, read through it as well. It actually is quite beneficial for you to start using your digital assistant, from scratch. So you can expand from there, as you get more handy with it, you can actually do a lot of other labs and try to test it out as well. I think that's it from my side. Should I hand it over to...
Thanks, Amir. Yep, thank
Jane.
you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thanks everybody today for this great workshop, and for you diehards who've stayed on for the duration of the event. As mentioned, it's been recorded and it will be sent out to you within the week so that you can go through it at your own leisure and take the workshop itself. Thank you again, and we look forward to seeing you at our next event. There are a couple of questions coming in, so I see they're being answered.
Jane.
Yep.
Sorry, there's a couple of questions. I'll answer those live.
Okay.
Yep. So yes, there was one file which was extracted and copied to scripts folder. What is the need to do so? So that file is basically the web SDK file. It's basically you can open it up if you want to look at it. It's a JavaScript file. This one, right? So you can open it up and see what's inside. So it's basically just a web SDK that allows you to use the chat widget. I think Barry can explain it a bit better. I'm not sure, but basically, yeah, that's what they use it for.
Okay, so the web SDK is effectively a channel. So when we look at building chatbots with Digital Assistant, we look at building the conversation using obviously the bot ML that the guys have shown you here in terms of that YAML. When we're integrating into the back end, into our systems of record, that's where we use what's referred to as a custom component. And a custom component basically is an integration layer into your back-end calls. Now that's developed in Node, and so there is an SDK allowing us to integrate from the conversation into the back-end application. Now, when we have the front end, there is basically what we refer to as a channel, and that's where the user interface is effectively. So it could be one of the out-of-box channels, be it things like Facebook Messenger or Microsoft Teams or Slack or one of these. And in the case of the web channel, or in fact mobile, we have client SDKs that allow you to integrate into those environments. So when we're downloading the SDK here, and just scroll down a little bit if you would, Amir. So here you can see that the web SDK, this is actually the JavaScript library that allows us to have the out-of-box chat widget embedded inside your page. Now, the web SDK supports both a UI as well as a headless messaging service. So if you wanted to build your own interface, you could use the SDK in headless mode, and then effectively it would handle the messaging to the server. But by default, and what you saw here today was using the out-of-box client. So that SDK gets downloaded or hosted somewhere, and then is referenced within the JavaScript of your application. So effectively, you can add the entire chat client to your web page through a simple scriptlet that is defining both the look and feel, but also, as you saw, where the bot is actually running. So that's why we had the URL as well as the channel ID, which is the unique identifier for your web channel. If we're talking to the back end, and just scroll up a little bit there.
Okay.
So the top one, the custom component SDK, is the SDK that's used to integrate into your back-end application. So if we wanted to build a bot against, say, eBusiness Suite or PeopleSoft or any application you've built, you're going to be able to use that SDK. And if you just click on the link there, so this SDK is actually hosted on GitHub. So you can actually get the code to the SDK if you want. Otherwise, you can just install it in Node, because as I said, it is running in Node, where it will obviously go off and get it by doing a npm install. It'll actually bring that SDK down. So there are two SDKs. Think of it as one SDK is used for accessing backend services, and a different SDK, in this case, the client SDK, allows us to build a chat widget into either a web page or our iOS or Android applications if we're looking at building native mobile applications. But there are a number of other channels available to us to expose the various applications. So if you could just pop back into the development environment for a sec.
Okay.
Okay,
so
and
this
yep,
one?
so yep, just click on Add Channel.
All right. Okay.
And then in the pop list there, just show the so here are the out-of-box channels which are currently available to us, from Facebook to Slack to Microsoft Teams, Cortana, and so forth. And then if we want to build additional channels, so for example, I wanted to use Telegram or WeChat or something like that, then I would use the generic webhook channel that allows us to access our chatbot that you've built through the various entrance points. So you can think of a channel as representing where the end user is, and then we apply the appropriate channel to our digital assistant, and then we can access your bot from that. So as I said, a number of out-of-box ones, but in the case of the web channel, as Amir showed you before, we would create a web channel that effectively creates a listener, because in the case of JavaScript, it's going to be a WebSocket, and hence it becomes a WebSocket to webhook proxy that's built into the system. So what you're doing with the SDK is effectively creating the chat client inside your web page, which then handles all the messaging and rendering of the chat inside your page itself.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a very lengthy explanation, Barry. Yeah, it's a good one though. It's quite a bit technical, I guess. more sort of developer side. And there's another question. Can we have a session on that too? I guess we're not in the roadmap for that yet, but I guess we could have in the future, right? If there's a demand for it, we can have like a separate session.
Yeah, if you're interested in finding about creating custom components, there's an entire chapter or two on building custom components in the documentation. So that's a good place to start. And also there is a tutorial that on our tutorial page, which is a starter for creating custom components. So also a good place to start once you've done the workshop here.
Yeah. So just send us an email or something, and we can just direct you to the place you can do your research on the documentation as well. Okay.
Just to make it easy, just go to the our ODA docs bit.ly link. So bit.ly.
It's a basically.
No, bit.ly.
Okay.
/ODA, uppercase ODA, uppercase D, lowercase OC.
Oh.
Okay. Yep. So this is a quick link to our documentation. And importantly here, if you do have questions about the product, you'll notice down in the bottom right-hand corner, the chatbot. This is Artie. Artie is our chatbot to help you learn how to use the chatbot, how to build things. So you'll be able to ask various questions like, as I said, how do I build a custom component? What's the system? And it will be able to answer various questions. And that way, say, just to read more of you, or if you click on writing custom component, it will take you to the corresponding place in the documentation to go about writing custom components. Okay. So it's worth getting used to asking Artie the questions. It'll make it easier to find the right information and help you build build conversations using the chatbot. And Artie is built in ODA to teach you ODA.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right, so I think, do we have any more?
I think we're good on questions. Thank you for those responses. In your follow-up emails, we'll send the links to the workshop as well as this ODA site where you can have all the documentation. And we thank you again and look forward to seeing you next time.
Yep. Thank you, everyone. Have a
Okay,
good
thank
day.
you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.